So, to the Kenyans, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I did the best I could. I did the best I could. Okay, there were mistakes. Okay, several. Okay, many, many mistakes were made again and again. Okay. I, hey there. Welcome back to Passport Kitchen. This is officially episode number 4, and I am super excited about the country we're exploring today. So, just a quick recap. I'm Brianna, but you can call me Bree. And if this is the first time you're seeing my face, welcome. And for those returning, welcome back. On each episode, we are going to be talking about how much closer I am towards my ultimate goal of becoming a full time slow traveler slash expat. And I'll be saving over the next several years to reach that goal. Each episode will be exploring a different country and cooking a traditional dish from that culture. And I'll be giving you a financial update about how much I saved from this particular paycheck towards that ultimate goal. And I'm doing that by starting an aggressive savings goal of this year of doing a no buy year, but specifically a Black owned edition no buy year. But we'll get into that a little bit further into the episode. So, just to recap, we're on episode 4, and that means we've completed 3 episodes before this. So, if you want to definitely take a look at my first 3 episodes. So far, we've made chicken adobo while we explored the Philippines. We've made arepas while we explored Colombia, and we made moqueca while we explored Brazil. And each dish was yummier than the last. And for this episode, number 4, while we're still in Black History Month, we are traveling all the way to the motherland. That's right, Africa. And we're going to East Africa, but specifically Kenya. I'm super excited about this episode because I've been obsessed with Kenya since I was a kid. It's been on my bucket list for a while. I've been to 7 African countries, but I have not gotten the chance to explore Kenya yet. And so this episode is going to be really, really fun. And we're going to be making a dish called Pilau. And I picked that dish for a special reason, but we'll get into that a little bit further into the episode. Enough yapping, let's get in the kitchen and start cooking. So, for this episode, like I said, we are exploring Kenya, and the dish we're going to be making is pilau. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm saying it wrong, please let me know in the comments. And I want to remind you all, yet again, that I am not the family cook, okay? I cook survival level cooking. That's the level. So whatever expectations you have, please pause the video and lower your expectations and then press play again. All right? Now that your expectations have been lowered, let's continue. So, pilau is a celebratory dish, and I picked it because, right, we're celebrating and we're still in Black History Month. And I don't have one specific recipe that like I found and followed. I watched several different videos on YouTube, did some research on different websites, and also used ChatGPT. Don't tell nobody, please. Please. To the Kenyan specifically, please, please. I did the best I could. So the recipe I'm following like the most closely, I'll link that in the description box. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. I I'm even lowering my expectations for myself when it comes to this. But nonetheless, with all of the blending of different flavors, I feel like it can't help but at least taste good, right? Right. But anyway, let's dive into cooking this incredible recipe. talking about why Kenya was chosen, why Palau was chosen, and what it would be like to visit Kenya. Let's start. Welcome back, and welcome to the fourth episode of Passport Kitchen. I'm still Black. It's still Black History Month, and this is my fourth financial update for my fourth paycheck of the year. Yay! So, just a reminder for anyone new here, I am saving for my ultimate goal of becoming a full-time slow traveler slash expat. And every 2 weeks, I am sharing the exact amount that I'm saving from each paycheck towards my ultimate goal. So, last paycheck we did pretty good, right? Last paycheck we saved $375, and this paycheck I think we did really really good. This paycheck, again, I was really intentional in saving and budgeting, and really happy about the amount that I saved. So this paycheck I save dun, 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 $400. Yay! This brings me back to like episode one total, right? So the last time I was able to save this month from a paycheck was my first paycheck of the year in episode one. So it feels good to get back to that 400 amount. Again, that may be a little to some, that may be a lot to others, but that's what I saved for this paycheck, and I am super duper proud of myself. So that brings me to a little over 6% of my ultimate goal. And $400 would get me about, I don't know, like uh, about 2 weeks in Nairobi, Kenya, right? On a 1,500, 1,800 a month budget. So I technically save 2 weeks worth of travel time in Nairobi, Kenya. Yay for me. And this transitions into my no buy year, specifically my Black owned edition no buy year. This paycheck, um, I did really good. I'll say that. I did really, really good. And I was tempted because, like, I wanted to like exfoliate, and I ran out of like my sugar scrub from last year, and I was tempted. I really was. I was tempted to buy a new one, and then I thought about it, and I said, wait a second, let me Google like the homemade ingredients that you need in a scrub, and so Googled it, and I literally had every single thing that I needed already here at home. So I just made it. So I made an amazing coffee sugar scrub, and it came out incredible, and I love it. So that was definitely a win. And another win, and this transitions into the Black owned business I supported this for this paycheck. Another win was, like I said, I canceled all of my subscriptions around like entertainment and stuff. I really only have like two that I use on a daily basis. And so this month I have started using, I've been reminded about and started using my library card, right? It takes me back to PBS where Arthur said, having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. And so, yes, Arthur was right. He was right then and he's right now. And I use my library card. And again, you don't realize how many incredible free things the library has access to. And I was able to stream different movies because they have access to things, different books, right? I want to read more this year. So being able to access different audiobooks all for free, literally with my library card. And my library card is really cool. I don't know about yours, but my library card is part of like an inter-county like library gang. And so that means my one library card for my city is connected to multiple other libraries in other cities throughout the county. And so, yeah, it's pretty dope. So when I'm looking online for things that to access, if my specific city library doesn't have it, then I can go to the website of one of the other city libraries within the county in order to access it still with my own library card. So really dope. Again, that was a win. And so, yeah, I've been staying in on the weekends and watching some good movies. And so that transitions me into my Black woman owned business that I supported, this paycheck. And technically, I didn't buy anything, so this was a win, but I did donate. There's an incredible, she calls herself the Street Librarian, and her channel is Storybook Maze. And she is out in, I believe, Maryland, specifically, I think like Baltimore County. And she is literally creating little pop up like mini libraries for individuals in the neighborhood to access libraries. In December, I think she did like a Polar Express where she went around, drove around the neighborhood and gave out like little treats and books. And so I came across her video, and that was the first time I had ever heard of the the phrase a library desert. I've heard of food deserts, but never a library desert. And so the work that she's doing in the area that she's doing in is because there is a library desert. And so she is single handedly making sure that there are books to read for all ages, kids, adults, and it's really incredible. I'm going to link her channel in this video and in the description to. Share her information. And so, again, technically, I didn't buy anything, but I did donate $100 to her cause. And so that was better than, spending that $100 on anything else. And when I see a cause that I really care about like this, it definitely makes me want to donate. And it was incredible because here's this amazing, well-read, incredible Black woman single-handedly, or maybe not single-handedly, but taking on this challenge of making sure everyone in that community has access to books, quality books. And so, yeah, it's the work she's doing is incredible. I kind of went down a rabbit hole on her page and watched video after video after video. It was really amazing. So I will link her channel, again, her channel, and I believe on Instagram, she's also known as Storybook Maze, and she calls herself the Street Librarian. That is the dopest title of a position of a job that I've ever heard, and yeah, definitely had the support. So that was the Black woman owned business I supported for this pay cycle, and I'm very, very proud of that. So yeah, so far overall my progress has been really good. Not many challenges this month, and I'm very proud of that. And again, I'm at 6% towards my ultimate goal. I saved $400 this paycheck, and I donated $100 to Storybook Maze and her incredible cause of everything that she's doing out in Maryland. So yeah, I am really proud of my progress so far. Again, I don't think it's going to get challenging until I get to the summer, maybe when I want to be outside. But yeah, that's exactly the part of the year that I think is going to be the most challenging. But nonetheless, thanks so much for tuning back in. And let's go back to this Kenyan jollof. So I'm sure you're asking, why Kenya and Pilau for episode 4? Well, Pilau is a celebratory dish, and we're still in Black History Month, and that means we have plenty to celebrate. And after covering Brazil in last episode, which has the largest African diaspora in the Americas, I wanted to explore East Africa. Kenya is definitely different from Brazil in two top key ways. So one, Kenya is English speaking. English is one of the official languages there. So Kenya offers ease of communication. And second, there's a large and growing Black American expat community in Kenya, and Kenya seems to be really welcoming to that. So those are some of the top two reasons that stood out to me and really intrigues me even more about going to Kenya. I mean, growing up, I've been obsessed with Kenya for a while, and Kenya has always been on my bucket list of places to visit. And so, before I get ahead of myself, while we're making this Palau. Let's dive into what it would be like to visit Kenya. So, if I went to Kenya as a tourist, here's where I'd definitely go. Nairobi is top of the list. It's the capital, of course. Nairobi National Park is right on the edge of the city. You can see giraffes and skyscrapers in the background, Giraffe Center, Elephant Orphanage, museums, nightlife. I feel like Nairobi has it all, especially as a city girl. And one of the other places that's definitely on my bucket list, years ago, I saw these images of pink lakes and flamingos, and apparently that's at Lake Nakuru. And it has definitely been a place that I've been wanting to go and explore since I've seen those images. Flamingos, elephants, views of Mount Kilimanjaro, sign me up. And another couple of places. Lamu, island off the coast, Swahili heritage site. I definitely want to learn more about the culture, and that seems like a good place to check it out. Mount Kenya, second highest peak in Africa, plenty of climbing and hiking to do. So, beyond the touristy stuff, here's what I'd actually do. I'd eat Nyama Chomo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's grilled meat and I definitely have it at a local spot in Nairobi, not a tourist restaurant. I'd connect with the Black American expat community there, attend meetups, join Facebook groups, talk to people who've made the move. I'd visit the Swahili coast, Mombasa, Lamu, explore the African Arab cultural fusion, and visit hair salons while I'm in Nairobi and see what cool things I could get done to my hair. I'd also learn some basic Swahili. I know English is one of the official languages, so I technically don't have to learn Swahili. But as a cultural traveler, learning a bit of the local language is just a must do for me. So, Swahili is a language I've been fascinated with for a long time. And then, even hearing it when I traveled throughout Southern Africa, I knew it was something that I want to learn. So, while there, I'd definitely be learning and I would explore Nairobi's tech scene. This was interesting to me. I had no clue that Nairobi had this huge tech scene. They have plenty of co working spaces. I could connect with other entrepreneurs. It just seems Nairobi really has it all and checks a lot of my boxes. So for 2 weeks, on a budget of about $1,200 to $2,000, maybe a little bit lower because safari is not one of the things that I'm interested in. I could see myself really in enjoying Kenya. It looks like flights from the East Coast to Kenya are about $700 to $1,200 round trip. So as a vacation, incredible, absolutely. The food, the language, the vibes, yes, yes, yes. And English speaking makes it easy so that as soon as I get off the plane, I'd be able to navigate a little bit more easily. Okay, so while the Palau is cooking, we're going to get into if I could live there. I know I could definitely visit there and I want to one day. But the question of could I live there is the one that I'm truly, truly focused on. And while that Palau is simmering, and my goodness, the spices smell amazing, we're going to dive into if I could do that. So, let's do, I think what I'm specifically going to focus on is Nairobi, right? That's probably the area that I'd probably be located in living wise. So that's where our focus is going to be. So let's talk about cost of living, right? Rent. From what I see, it ranges from 400 a month to 1,200 a month, right? And that's based on the neighborhoods and the amenities and how comfortable you want to be, right? So doable. Um, Food would be about 300 to 600 per month. Transportation would be about $50 to $150 per month, right? Cheap buses, Uber is available here and there. Utilities about $50 to $100 per month. Internet $30 to $60 per month, pretty doable. And so it would be around a monthly total of 1,200 to 2,100 per month. Pretty doable, definitely within the budget that I'm comfortable with. So cost of living wise, that works for me. And again, the areas that I would probably focus mostly on is Nairobi. I love that there's a tech scene there that I learned about. It's called, what is it? silicone savannah is what they call it. And so I really love the like emerging tech scene there, and the amount of co-working spaces. So that's where I would focus the most on. Let's get into visas. So there's a tourist visa for 90 days, and I heard you can renew it for another 90 days. And that would give you approximately 6 months, right? So I would definitely be tapping into that visa to visit there. But I'm seeing that they implemented a digital nomad visa. It's called the Kenyan Class in Digital Nomad Work Permit. It looked like it launched in 2024. And so that would give you about 1 to 2 years there. And I could do that. The cost is affordable. So, yeah, I could definitely do that. Let's get into quality of life. Now, like I said, one of the official languages of Kenya is English. So that means as soon as I get off the plane, I could immediately communicate and navigate around. But like I said, Swahili is a language I've been wanting to learn, and I would definitely learn some basic Swahili while I'm there and get that cultural immersion. So being able to speak English, but also having the opportunity to learn basic Swahili and use it on a daily basis would be really dope. Healthcare. From what I see, good private hospitals in Nairobi, a doctor visit is around $30 to $100 per visit. Again, doable. Safety. It varies by neighborhood. You know, petty crime in some areas, a little bit more extreme crime in other areas. But I'm American. I live in America. I would be coming from America. If you know, you know. Okay, crime here exists. So, not to say that um, I would be, willing to jump from one fire into another, but I would be making sure, especially as a solo female traveler, to definitely explore the safer areas and live in the safer neighborhoods. So, yeah. Expat community. Like I said, they have a growing Black American expat community. And so I would definitely be looking to tap into that. And the time zone, it's 7 to 8 hours ahead of the East Coast time zone. So that would be challenging. I would probably have to do work during the night to adjust to the time zone on this side of the US, but I could make it work. And the hair care, again, this is not a requirement, but it is a nice to have. And baby, I'm gonna be in a motherland. So that's a no brainer, okay? I would be looking to book an appointment immediately to see what dope styles I could try out. And yeah, I think I'd have a lot of fun there when it comes to hair care. Now, here's something that I definitely need to know about and is a non-negotiable is the internet quality. As a digital nomad, that's going to be a requirement. But like I said, there's a thriving tech scene there. And so they have a strong enough uh, internet infrastructure um, to be able to work remotely, right? From what I've researched, there are some power outages here and there, but they're not long and extensive. So, and again, as long as I stay in like the city center, I'd be fine. It's good enough. So that works for me. Now, LGBTQ. I knew this prior to looking into it, but my research just kind of confirmed what I already knew. It's definitely illegal. It's not something that are openly doing. It's a major concern if you're a queer traveler or potential expat. So not safe to be openly LGBTQ. There are some underground communities that exist, but all in all, not safe. So I think overall the concerns I have safety, right? Again, I don't want to be jumping from one fire into the other. So I'd be definitely doing my research on the neighborhoods that I should be living in that are a bit more safer for me, especially as a female slow traveler. The time zone is a bit annoying, but like I said, I could adjust. I would have no problem adjusting. And from what I hear, again, because the expat community is growing there, and because there is a budding tech scene there, the cost of living is increasing in Nairobi. But from what I researched, the current cost of living very much fits into my budget. So I keep a lookout for that. But as for now, it definitely checks that box. I think overall, Kenya offers English speaking, so again, that ability to immediately step off the plane and communicate and navigate would be incredible. While being able to learn Swahili at my pace is great. The growing black expat community is incredible from what I hear there, and I'd definitely be tapping into that. And overall, the cultural richness, the culture, the vibes, the food, all of it. I would want to be there to absorb all of it. So, there are some concerns I have, but what is my rating for living there? And do I think I could actually live there? That Pilau smells really good. Let's get some Pilau and I'll give you my final thoughts. Let's go. It smells good. Um, but let me preface it, okay, before we dive in. To the Kenyans, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I did the best I could. I did the best I could. Okay, there were mistakes. Okay, several. Okay, many, many mistakes were made again and again. Okay, I, that's neither here nor here. Neither here nor there. Okay, it's done. And I think the amount of spices in here would make anything taste good. But making this made me realize that I think even for myself, I had too high of expectations, right? So I think when I make something, even though I'm cooking on a survival level of eating skills, of cooking skills, um, I always hope, right, that it's going to be good. I always hope, right? It's good to hope. But this dish made me realize that I really should lower my expectations when I make things, especially things outside of my comfort zone, and just strive for it to be edible, right? So so that became the goal here. Okay, it got to be good with the amount of spices in here, but at the very least, it's edible. Okay, and through this process, I realized that that was the only goal that I was working towards, was it being edible. Okay, okay. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how edible it is, and yeah, we're just gonna go from there. Let's see. It looks good. It looks good. Does it look like the pictures that I saw? No, but it looks good. Also, this has quite a bit of onions in it. Okay, two whole onions to be exact. And if you're new here, I don't like onions, so we're gonna navigate this. So it looks good. It smells incredible, and I'm excited. I think I may make this again and try to do better. But we'll see how this first bite goes. Let me see if I can get some rice without any onions. Okay, okay. Now let's try some with some onions and stuff. Okay, this is interesting. I don't think I did this right. You know what I just realized? I just realized I didn't put any salt in this. hmm I said mistakes were made. So the rice is tender. I mean, honestly, the flavor is there. It's it's good, but I think a little bit of salt would have really carried it. But it's definitely good. I also don't mind the onions, maybe because they've been cooked down so much that it works. Let's try the chicken. Okay, now if you saw the video, you would see that I had to take the chicken out, brown it because I realized that it required it to be browned, and then put it back in a thing. Listen, I said mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Yeah, I definitely think this needs some salt, and maybe I'll add more garlic next time. Let's cook through though. I'm very proud of myself. Like, honestly, I am. Um, each episode cooking a different dish from a different country, a dish that I've never cooked, and I'm definitely not a chef. Um, I surprise myself every time. So I'm not mad at it. I really do think if I added in a little bit of salt, the flavors would be hitting the way they're supposed to. So I'm gonna make this again, and I'm going to try and make less mistakes when I make it the second time. But overall, I like it. I do. The rice is nice and fluffy the way it should be. I saw some recipes that added in like potatoes and stuff, so I don't know if I'll try that when I make it again. But overall, I'm really proud of myself, honestly, truly. The reason I picked pilau is because it is a celebratory dish. It's not eaten every day. It's eaten at weddings and birthdays and celebrations. And I loved when I was learning about this recipe that it really was Swahili heritage, right? It's this fusion of Arabic and Indian and African fusion all in one. And I thought that was incredible. I think that the spices, the cardamom, the cinnamon, the cloves, right? From what I learned, that got introduced into Kenyan culture through trade with Arabs and Indians. So I really love that fusion, and I could see throwing down on this at somebody's wedding, right? Right? Somebody Kenyan, please invite me to your wedding, and hopefully, you have this there. I know it would hit at a wedding. But yeah, I really love that aspect. Also, the reason I picked this dish is because it spoke to me in some way. It's a celebratory dish, and we're still in Black History Month, so there's still plenty to celebrate, right? And it just made me think, and maybe I'm overthinking, but it really made me think how about the history of Black Americans in this country and the history of enslaved uh, Africans throughout the world and the state of the African continent right now. And it just made me think about how, about the transition from trading to taken. And what I mean by that is it made me think about and really reflect on at one point in time, the world saw Africa and all its minerals and resources and people as 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 individuals and merchants to trade with, right? For resources. You give something, you get something, right? That's trading. And somehow through a traumatic transition, it went from equal trading, give and get, to taken, and viewing Africa as this continent to take from and not to trade with. Take the people, the resources, the minerals. Like it really made me think when I was learning about this dish, right? Again, those spices were introduced into Kenya from trading with Arabs and Indians and Kenyans trading back and forth, right? All on the same level playing field, merchants all trading. And somehow it's transitioned into, traumatically transitioned into Africa and its resources, minerals, the people being taken, and Africa being stripped of so many resources. And it it really was sad. It really was sad and frustrating and infuriating. But yeah, that's what it made me think. Overall, again, I made this dish because it also is the 100 year of celebrating Black history in America, right? In 1926, it started out as a week and it grew into a month. And so for 100 years, Black history has had a designated time frame to be discussed and shared and taught. And that's something worth celebrating, especially now with everything going on. That is definitely something worth celebrating. And so I celebrated with Palau, and I'm glad I did. So now that we shared all those thoughts and you got a peek inside my mind, let's get into my assessment, right? Would Could I live there and what rating I give it? So could I visit Kenya? Absolutely. but could I live there? And what rating I would give it? I think I think I would give it maybe a 7.2 out of 10, right? So, and here's why. Here's why. I love the idea, that there's this thriving tech scene there. I would really love to go and, explore that and experience it. I love the thriving and growing Black American expat community that they have there. Again, the culture, the vibes, all of it. I think the only things that really concern me is um, navigating as a solo woman by myself, and also like what the power outages like really look like, right? So, and how to like really navigate that. So I changed that. I'd give it an 8. I'd give Kenya an 8 out of 10. I think everything else checks, right? Thriving community, hair care access, um, tech scene, co-working spaces, good enough internet, English speaking. I could learn basic Swahili, nightlife, right? Like it's definitely a vibe. And so, yeah, I bump it up to an 8. 8 out of 10 is where I'm ending with Kenya. I think once being there in person on the ground and seeing and exploring for myself, I think it can be a contender. I really truly do. So I think right now, Colombia gets an 8.5 out of 10. And so that's in the number one spot. And Kenya is right behind with an 8 out of 10 in the number two spot. So I'm excited about that. And I'm super excited about the thought of going and exploring Kenya in person one day and trying Pilau from somebody's Swahili grandmother who has been cooking it for decades and learning some basic Swahili. I I think I could really like Kenya once I'm there. Like I said, I've been obsessed for a while, and so experiencing it in person would be a dream. So yeah, that's where I'm ending at. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I'm excited to see it in person, and I'm curious about what the next episode will be. If you've ever been to Kenya and you have thoughts, advice, suggestions, definitely leave it in the comments below. If you are Kenyan and you have thoughts, comments, suggestions, leave it in the comments below. If there's anything I got wrong, about Kenyan culture or this dish, definitely leave it in the comments below. And if you have any idea about what my next country should be, right? Should I stay on the continent and explore a little bit more? Or should I try out a different country on a different continent? Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, peace.